So I'm going to talk about how things in the chaos, how things can work, especially in this day and age if we want enlightenment and things out in the world. You know, if I want dogs that don't run away, I got to train my dogs to not run away. Or I just won't have dogs that run away, or that won't run away out in the world. You know, they won't behave. Now, me sitting there hating on people isn't getting that job done. So if I really hate on that in the world, and I don't want other trainers to succeed, then I shouldn't be even in the area of dogs. If I don't want other people to succeed with their dogs, then I shouldn't be doing that. And that's kind of what happens in this competitive atmosphere, especially when you bring philosophy and politics now into it, all this academic stuff and debate. You have to build a home for what you're trying to excel to in yourself before you can have that out in the world, anywhere. You're not going to let that happen. You're going to constantly have a problem with that, be offended by that which you're studying about. If you're studying about archetypes, Godhead archetypes, things like that, if you have a problem with that, then you shouldn't be studying that. And yeah, how's it going? Good. So you know, people study that, and then there's the study of those things, and then there's the actual occurrence of it, and then that comes with the fruits of the labor, the great work. Which, you know, when people see that probably ties into some other things too. They're definitely apt to deny it. So you can't expect them to accept it. You kind of be your own support system. That's how it is. It really sucks in that manner, but that's how that is. And that's fine, because God gives you the tools anyway to be, you know, supported in that way. And that's all part of, like, His glory. Is that, you know, God isn't really philosophy, but I'm sure God can get into those things, knows about them things, and this Superman state, this God mode thing that gets trendy that people talk about, this higher learning states, higher education, is all, you know, that's all pretty much what I'm talking about here. Hey, Vance, leave it. No, good boy. Good boy. So, and you know, I just gotta talk. I don't have to yell at my dogs or anything like that. There's no reason to really yell and be competitive. I notice that drives things away. I get that from, like, knowing about dogs. I think some of the stuff ties into psychology too. It's kind of like all energy. It's kind of where that can be seen a lot in the animals. Animals seem to be more in tune than us. Though they seem dumber, I don't really think they are dumber. I think science just has a really egotistical view of things, which kind of stifles progress and limits things, makes people more possessive. And you know, like I said, that's what I experience a lot, is that people are more apt to deny the fruits of these certain states, especially when they've studied them for a while and somebody comes along and actually has what they're trying to study for, because the studying creates, like, desire and things like that. You know, the last person people really want to see in religion is most likely Jesus, because He would say, you know, like, I don't believe in, you know, all this crap that you might be doing. People would be like, oh, I don't like the way he's saying that, or he said I can't be proud, that's a deadly sin. You know, things like pride, they rob up your energy, they shut your chakras. I mean, it all ties into, like, a grand theory of everything, but you have to create what you want at the root, which is yourself. So, if you're scared to see Socrates, then, you know, you have to imagine, you have to use your imagination to bridge the infinite and the finite, to allow yourself to accept that. You might see Socrates, you might have a problem with the guy. You know, if you're having a problem, you gotta figure out why. And you'll find in the end that that's really all these people did, is they did this the work in the temple, which is themselves. The root of things. So if you think about it, Socrates didn't really desire to be himself or to become himself. Jesus didn't really desire to become himself. He just was. He already was. None of these other archetypes desire to be themselves. At the root, they just are. And then they begin to take on their other forms. From there, once there's like unconditional content, like a content in all things. Hey Vance, leave it. Oh boy. So, that's like building a foundation that's solid within ourselves, so we're not fighting and getting all living by feelings, pretty much. Feelings and reflections of the, what's fears up ahead, big scary shadows and shit like that. It's not too hard. What makes it hard is that it's all inner work. It's all effort we have to do. It's not like a study and read and kind of learning that we're used to in indoctrination or school. You don't really have to like feel the numbers, become the numbers in math. You don't have to feel the spelling and become the spelling. There's none of that. It's just, you're just rolling through stuff. And kind of neglecting all that inner growth. And actually, it's more corrupting of the inner growth than, Vance, come on. Then, it's more corrupting to people within to just sit there and do all these academics over and over, regurgitate answers and stuff like that. And then in the grand scheme of things, find out that a lot of that's not feasible. Let's imagine and say, something better came along that just wiped out all this indoctrination shit that we ever thought we knew. And that's kind of like what can happen. So, I find you just gotta build a place within over that. And that's like facing the void, the cross.